Oh, it's a slick looking bow. I think I'm gonna just stare at it for a while. I love it. I love it. I love it. So excited. I'm so excited. Today we are putting together the VTM34 from Hoyt, and I'm excited to get this bad boy ready to go. So the reason why I went with the VTM34 is because I like a longer axle to axle, and as the name implies, it's a 34-inch axle to axle. And then actually when you take into account the cams, with the big HBX cams, it actually gets up there closer to 40. And so when I'm at full draw, it has a lot more stability. The 34 has a little bit bigger brace height, which again will help with shooting performance, at least for me, give me some more wiggle room for my many flaws. Just like last year's Venom Pro that I shot, is they have the Picatinny rail on the front for inline shooting. I am shooting a Picatinny sight that will attach there with the HHA Rise. The other thing is they have these integrated slots down here for if you want to put a sidebar, you can attach it down here from down low. With one of the Hoyt stabilizers, I'm actually shooting a HHA setup, so I'll actually attach my front and back bar from the front on the stabilizers. Another cool thing that they've added this year is they've introduced this slot for people that are shooting sights that have the push button for a rangefinder on it, like from Garmin and other companies. They have a slot here that will allow the electronic devices to come in and slide in through the riser and not be sticking out and be bulky and awkward. And so you can have access to that button. Not something that's relevant to me, but for people that it is relevant for, they got it. And then what is relevant for me is this slot in the back of the riser here. I shoot a drop away rest from HHA, a Virtus Rest, and that little slot right there will allow my draw cord whenever I attach my draw cord to the bottom of my cable. That'll allow it to be nice and in line. They still have the HBX Pro cams with the mods, and so the mods will allow you to adjust the let off from 85 to 80. Also, you can do your draw length, I think 26 to 31 inches, which, I mean, the absolute vast majority of archers and bow hunters out there are gonna fall within that. So one cam and one system of mods is gonna get you set up. This is an 80-pound bow. I am shooting the HHA Virtus Rest. This is a rest that I have shot for years on a variety of bows. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm actually tying a knot. I got my knot point set, and I'm actually gonna tie a knot in the bottom of the D-loop. So the D-loop's gonna set like this. My knot's gonna set here. I'm gonna tie a little bitty knot right here. The reason why I do that is when I draw back, the top of that loop ever so slightly can move up and down that string. It's gonna be pushing on the top of my nock, and it's gonna be holding my arrow down. So it's like this, and my nock's right here. It's gonna be pushing down and holding my arrow down on my rest. That way when I draw back, it's not bouncing up and down. So what I do with all my bows, regardless of the weight, is I never have the limbs cranked down all the way. I will always turn it off, either a half a turn or a full turn. So that's what we're gonna do right here. I guess I should talk to an actual engineer and see if there's any merit to the idea that it performs better this way as opposed to cranked all the way down within the limb pocket. I don't know. Maybe this is just habit. Man, that's pretty cool. You got this little slot right here, so your draw cord can actually go from your drop away rest down to your cable without having to go around that little riser right there. That's pretty smart. Make things a lot more simple. So I just pulled it back, shot it through, got my draw cord set, make sure it was pulling tension down on the rest. We're gonna tie the draw cord into the cable. It comes with the football clamp. I'm pretty sure all of these drop away rests do, but I like to tie it in just a little more secure. I've used the football clamps and they work, but you know what works better is serving string. All right, I got everything tied in. Got my peep sight tied in, my D-loop, got my draw cord for my rest. Now going to put my stabilizer system and my go sticks on, and then we're gonna be ready to shoot this bad boy and take it afield. So let's do that. So I got my HHA sidebar mount, I got a quick disconnect, and then I have the HHA jump strap. Look at that. there she is in all of her glory, locked, cocked, and ready to rock. I love it. I love it. I love it. I cannot tell you how excited I am. This is my personal bow, so I'm like really excited to get this bad boy out to the range and start shooting. But man, it's a slick looking bow. These Go sticks are handy. If you're watching this channel, you probably know how often I hunt off the ground. Using decoys on the bow or just set up in a cedar tree itself. This Go stick integrated into the whole system for me is going to be a game changer. Look at that. Oh, I'm so pumped. Another cool thing, another thing you may notice about my bow in particular is, you know, it's a 34, it's a 34-inch axle, which is long. It's also a heavier bow, like literally a heavier bow. It's 4.8 pounds bare bow. But this bow right here is probably gonna be close to 8 pounds. And the reason why I want it that heavy is I hunt in, you know, I'm from Oklahoma. I hunt a lot in the Plain States, out west. I hunt pretty much all across the country, all across the world, it seems like. But where I live and I cut my teeth is in the plains. And if you know anything about the Plain States, the wind comes sweeping down the plains, and that is absolutely true. And so when I have a heavier bow, that allows me to be more steady in that wind, and the longer axle to axle helps, you know, me do the same thing. And for me, I want to be as steady as possible, as often as possible. And so I want to weight this bow down as much as I can. I will start playing with this when I get the full draw and feeling, as far as my side weights, my back bar, start feeling and trying to balance that out. I'll add and subtract to make sure the balance is right. But I cannot tell you how excited I am to get this on the range right now and start shooting it. Oh, it's a slick looking bow. I think I'm gonna just stare at it for a while. I'm not saying you have to shoot the VTM34, but if you haven't shot it, you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you don't go down to your local shop and ask to pull it off the rack and go shoot it, because this thing is dead. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.